Hey folks, I could not be happier with my iPhone 13. I didn't get the mini, and I didn't get the Pro, and I didn't get those for very specific reasons. But I have found there's one thing on this phone that is lacking, and we're gonna fix it. Now the main difference between the iPhone 13 and the Pro models is you're missing a camera sensor. And that camera sensor allows you to do macro photography, which means you get really close to something and it'll still be in detail and it'll look good. My phone doesn't have that.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
And for lots of things, that's not really a problem. It has telephoto, it has all of the other stuff that I've been missing, and it takes great photos. But I really do like macro photography. I have a whole lens on my DSLR dedicated to it, and I want to be able to carry this in my pocket while still being able to capture macro photography. Now I had a birthday not too long ago, and a friend who knew I had this problem got me a product that helps fix it. So let's take a look at it. This is what I got. There's no name, there's no even product name on this thing, but basically it has two lenses in it and they screw together. You have a wide angle, so you can capture even wider than what you have, and then you also have a macro lens. And essentially these things just screw together, you can clip them onto your phone, and you change your focal length. Taking a look inside the package, you have a clip that comes out, and this is gonna go onto your phone. Basically, it goes over the top, it clips onto the screen, and you put it over the camera, and then you have the lenses. These are actually fairly heavy, they're metal, they're high grade. They work pretty well. So let's take a look how this applies and how I can take macro photos with just this little lens. We're gonna pull off the lens cover, and you can see we have a wide angle lens here. It has a little bit of a hood to it. You can see that the lens really bows out. And then behind here, this little spot back here, we're gonna unscrew this front part and we can access the macro lens behind it, which also has a little lens cap on it. This is to screw into the clamp, but basically it's protected as long as you have the front lens protected. And one thing to pay attention to with this one in particular, you can see it tells you the direction that you're supposed to unscrew to get to the super macro. Make sure you do this or you're gonna tighten it onto the lens and then it's a real pain to get off. So they uncouple like this. This is my macro, this is my wide angle, and I'm gonna put this over the camera lens here, and you can see that it makes a wider angle just based on that. So the optics of this thing does work. Now let's go ahead and put this on the phone. Now the first thing you're gonna do is grab your clip. There's two spots to put it depending on which camera lens you're using. I'm gonna be using the bottom one, which is the main camera, and we're just gonna take this and screw it right on there. It will thread in, and it's not a big deal to do. And you should get something that looks a little bit like this. So basically we're gonna attach this to the front of the phone. This is gonna go over the main camera, and then we tighten this bad boy down onto the screen. You don't need it to be real tight, but it will go through and then allow you to have a different lens on your camera. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our lens and put it basically sandwiched over top like that. I have a case on my phone, so it takes a little bit of jiggling, but I wanna get it over the bottom camera sensor. So I'm just gonna slowly pull that down, making sure not to scratch anything, especially my screen. And when you're doing this, it's really helpful to put it into camera mode because we can see I'm clearly off. I'm looking at the lens itself, so I just gotta adjust some things and get it where it's supposed to be. I'm also currently in the wrong camera setting, so that could have been part of the reason why. Now, you will get a little camera vignetting with this thing. You can see it's not in focus at all right now, and that's because this is a macro lens and I'm very far away from my background. So let's go in and take a look at some of the setups we could do with this macro lens. So as you can see, I have my little Lego lunar lander here. This is from the Apollo spaceship, and I'm gonna zoom in here on it with my phone. And you can see how close I can actually get to this thing while keeping everything in focus. And you get this nice blurred background. I can get pretty much right on top of these things and not have it be blurred or anything like that, and grab my photo. Now in comparison, I'm gonna slowly zoom in on my phone without the thing on there, and you'll see I can get just as close, but my little guys get out of view real fast. They get out of focus, and you can see that I have to be significantly farther away from the lander to get everything in focus, and I don't have the blur in the background that I would normally have with that little lens attachment. As you can see in all four of these photos, I can get significantly closer and a lot more detail and a shallower depth of field with the macro lens as opposed to the built-in lens. Can I change this in software and do some editing and stuff? Yes, but does it look as good, or do I have the photo fidelity that I would have otherwise? No. Now there are some absolute drawbacks to this. I am going to lose quality just because I'm sticking another piece of glass in front of the original camera sensor. It's not going to look as good. I'm going to have some vignetting. But other than that, I'm not really missing anything. Now, are these as good as a normal macro lens? No. but they're really good. They provide a service to the phone that it didn't have. It adds more capabilities. I can now get pretty good macro shots by just putting this little clip on, and it fits in my pocket if I want to. I can carry it around, and it didn't cost anywhere near as much as what the iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max would have cost. It's really a nice setup. It works, and I couldn't be happier.